this is StupidGameDev, and today we are going to have some nice awesome tutorial about how to make like basic general MMORPG camera work, basically the camera, the controls. And this is gonna be probably maybe a little bit longer video, but I hope you will enter and stay in focused. Click the subscribe button and the bell notification button thing, whatever that is, and follow me on Twitter to get the new notifications as well whenever a new video is dropped in, and I will see you in a bit. Alright, so here we are. Now I'm going to show you first what we are going to be creating before we actually go and create this. Now, there is a partially of like animation blueprints, and if you have any questions about animation blueprints, I might not have the answer because that's not my area. I'm not that good with animation blueprints or with animations anyways. Anyways, however, so here is what we are going to be doing. So, as you can see, we can look around. Then we can look around and rotate our character as well with right mouse button. And with both we can move around, and it's going to move where we are turning and looking at through our camera. And then we also move backwards and forwards. I mean, now we walk backwards, now we look, now we walk forwards. All right, and now we turn. So basically we are turning when we are not moving. I mean, even if we are moving, we are turning. But when I hold down, it's a pipe, like that's my air conditioner, and the pipe is just moving on its own. When I hold down my right mouse button, we can move forward and backwards, but also we are not turning anymore, we are moving now right and back, just like in other games. And when I hold down both mouse buttons, we can just, basically move right forward and so on, but not backwards. That's what we cannot do. And there is one thing that I didn't add here, but we are going to be adding. The one thing is that when I now look at our character, like I basically are facing our character now, and I press down right mouse button, without even moving mouse, the character automatically turns. But we want to make the character to turn when the right mouse button is down and the mouse is moved. So we can do that as well. So I did all of this inside the player controller, and the reason for that is basically because then regardless of whatever character blueprint we are going to be using, we have the same controls all over the place. If you want to have this kind of control on a specific characters, then you should do this inside character blueprint. It's still doable, but like slightly differently, almost the same. Like for example, inside player controller, when we have to add movement input, we have to get player character first. But if you're doing this inside player character blueprint, you don't need to get player character because you already are. So you can just directly search or add input, movement input. Anyways, good. So I'm gonna do in my player controller. So what we want to do is create new player controller class. I already did to controller. Right click, blueprint class and player controller. Now I'm gonna open my fantasy game mode. You still need game mode, so you can actually use your player controller. So create one if you don't have, and in player controller class, just set in your player controller. Mine is tooth controller. Why is controller a fucking hard word to say? Maybe because I'm Finnish. Like controller, controller. I hate it. Also, I'm gonna use my default pawn as a player, which doesn't matter because I'm not using player start, I'm using the player character blueprint directly. Alright, so then we can close this. Make sure in your world settings you have set your game mode as your game override, the default. Now, then we are good to go. One thing we have to do. So, you have your player character blueprint. Okay. Now, what you need inside here is just spring arm and camera. And obviously your mesh as well. And make sure, go to your character blueprint, the shelf, and make sure you are not using, so use controller rotation yaw is false. Just untick it, uncheck it, and that's good. Then one more thing is in the spring arm, put your target arm length whatever you want, but make sure you use pawn control rotation is checked. And I also disabled inherit roll. And that's all we have to do really here. Yes, so now we can close this and we can hop on the player controller. I'm gonna make sure in the class defaults I'm gonna enable Soma's cursor, and well, I wouldn't exactly need this, but just in case I'm gonna add them because why not? Compile and save, and now we are good to go. And first thing what I'm gonna do is get begin play. You have this already there because it's a new, if it's a new blueprint for you, it's there. From here we need to input, set input mode, game and UI, and make sure hide cursor during capture is checked, and player controller is gonna be self. There we go. And now I'm gonna open this up in here because I am too stupid, I need help. Okay, after that, we're gonna do the mouse first. So I'm gonna right click here, inputs. We need inputs. Let's go to edit and project settings and input. Now, here are all we are going to be needing. So I have one action mapping, which is auto walk. This is unnecessary. You don't necessarily need this. But if you want to have auto walk key binding, you can add this. Then for action mappings, we need like zoom is my mouse wheel, and then we have turn, which is the same as move right, basically. I just like to make them individuals. Then we have move forward, DA. W is -1 because it's backwards, and in move right A is -1 because it's backwards as well. It's actually left, not backwards. It's left. Then we have look up, which is mouse Y, which is also -1. And then look right, which is mouse X, and that is actually 1. Oh, that's 1, yes. So these are all we have. This is all we need. So you can close this whole project, toss it into the fucking bin can, and just delete it and never open it again. Now it's just a stupid joke. Trying to be funny, but I'm not. First one, we are gonna get input axis look up. We need to look up. There's nothing there. We need add bitch, no. Axis value, there we go, done, boom, game is done. Then we are gonna look right. Wait, that's left for you. Or is it now? Because this is left for me. Look right. No, okay. Then we need to add your input. After this, we need a function here for later purposes, but let's do that quick now. So for this, we need actually one variable, custom variable. So we're gonna create one custom variable. I'm gonna call this saved control rotation, and it's gonna be rotator. I'm gonna categorize this as in control. Okay. In here, what we need to do, I mean, nothing here. No, not yet. We need to create a function first. And the function, I'm gonna call this save control rotation. Duh. And categorize as control. And now we need to get the player character. And from here we need to get actor rotation. Get actor rotation. Then we not all we need to get control rotation. Thank you. You're welcome. Now we need delta rotator. So from the actor rotation, get actor rotation. From the actor rotation, we need to do delta, and the B is gonna be called control rotation. Is gonna be B. There we go. And this is our saved control rotation. So we're gonna set it here next. All right, that's all we need to do here. And it's already took like so fucking long time to do even this fucking simple function. Compile and save. Now we event graph. All right. So we want to put this after your input. And the reason why we add in this is because whenever we are like not moving and so on, we want to save this so that like when we are moving and rotating, basically, when we are not pressing any mouse buttons, we're moving and rotating, the camera will follow the rotation as well. You will see what I mean if you don't know already. So now I'm gonna comment this as mouse, and I'm gonna make the colors as purple. All right. Now we need zoom. Let's do zoom next. So here, zoom, axis event zoom. All right. Now I'm gonna create new variable here. I'm gonna call this zoom step without the star, because that looks like zoom shit step. Okay, this is gonna be float. I'm gonna make this categorize as camera, and I'm gonna make compile, and I'm gonna make the step to 100. So what this does is, in here, we are putting it in here quickly first now. There we go. All right, so now we get, so what this does is like, this is the amount we are going to be adding on each step. Like when we roll once up, like once, it's gonna add this step amount of the units, the value into our spring arm. So this target arm to the target arm length. So 100 is good for now, at least. All right. Next step is we need to we need to create another new function. I'm gonna just duplicate this because we need float. I'm gonna call this zoom target. No, I'm gonna do zoom goal. This is the target arm length that we are going for. All right. So we need to now drag from this. Here we need to float plus by float, and we're gonna plus by this zoom goal. All right. Then we want to clamp this because we just don't want to keep like forever and infinity of times. It would just we would just go like fucking far away from the player, and that's not what we want. So I'm gonna clamp this, clamp float. Now you can make this also like promote variables minimum and maximum, but I'm gonna just add them here. So minimum of 300 and maximum of 1000. That is my zoom range. And then we are gonna set our zoom goal here. Set. And there we go. Now what I want to do next is, oh, it's straight already. Now I want to, we could already just, it will almost work just right out of the box right now. So what I'm gonna need to do is get player character, and we need to check, does the player character have a spring arm? So what we're gonna do is drag out and get component by class. And the component class is spring arm. We are looking for spring arm component. And now we need to set target arm length. And this is going to be our length. Now, this is not, I mean, this works, but this is ugly. And you will see why. Compile and save. Let's see. Now, you can see it's really, it's so rough. It's like immediately. Some games does this. I don't like this. This is ugly. So we need to smooth it out, and it's really simple. Then I'm gonna disconnect these. Oh, if you didn't know, you can disconnect by holding down Alt and clicking at the end where you want to disconnect. If you want to move it, you can just hold down Control and drag from here, and you can move it somewhere else, like. Anyways, what we need is we need to poop. No. I'm gonna drag from the target arm length here of interp 2. I'm gonna interpolate it. And now current one is, so let's get from the original value of the get component by glass, which get target arm length. This is our current one. This is, yeah, I can, yeah, like hello. Now the target is our zoom goal. That is gonna be our target, like that. Delta time, I'm gonna use event tick. No, sorry, not event tick. What am I? Get world delta seconds. This is gonna be our delta time, because this is the same thing as event tick, but since we are not using event tick. And the reason for that actually is, I'm gonna explain in a moment. Let's make this into speed as 10. Alright, that's good. So now I'm gonna explain why we are using this instead of event tick, is because this is firing on every frame, every tick, every frame. This is firing as well. Like, as you can see, it's firing all the time. So we don't need event tick to do this. I want to keep my event tick clean as possible. I don't want to overcrowd my tick. I don't know whether this is gonna overcrowd anything. Maybe, I don't know. But like, yeah, so this fires every frame. That's why we're doing this. Normally, others would have done it like, instead of using input axis, they would use input action that like from zoom in and zoom out and do the calculations first, and then use event tick to do the smoothing thing and the setting up. But like, this is way simpler and easier. You don't need event tick for this. And like, if there were not get word delta seconds, then we would need event tick. But I would still just get event tick and make new variable called delta time and use that instead of just crowding the event tick. But this is basically the same thing. So now when we check out, let's page. Now you can see it's way smoother. I love it already. It's good. All right, that's good. Now, next part, I'm gonna comment this, select all of them. I'm gonna comment this as zoom. Let's make this, I'm gonna make it reddish, a little bit redder, like that. All right, good. Now, back to the business. Now, what next? Next we have move forward. So let's do that. So right click, move forward. And here we are gonna do something quickly, easy. So we need to get player character. So usually, normally you would get your forward vector by from your contour rotation, but in this case we don't want that. We want to get it from where our character is facing. That's gonna be our forward direction and backward, basically. Yeah. So we need to get player character and we need to get actor rotation, and then what we can do is get forward vector. And then we don't need to actually get another one, we can just use this one. So we need to drag from the player character here and add movement input. Now this is something, if you're doing this in your player character blueprint, you don't need this, you're already in your player character blueprint. Like if you're getting this while you're inside your player character blueprint, then you are even more stupid than I am. No offense, really. No, I love you guys. Now, this is gonna be our direction, this vector forward, the forward vector. I'm gonna connect this here. But then what we need, or what do I want to do? Did you understand? If you don't, well, I'm not gonna explain it. Scale. Now we can just do this and it works, but we need to do something here between two, because we need to be able to auto walk. Like when we hold down both mouse buttons, we want the player to move. So that's why we need something. We need something between. So let's create new function here. I'm gonna call this. Let's call this auto walk, and it's gonna be pure function. I'm gonna make it under movement. All right. So we need input and output. They're both going to be floats. The first one is going to be axis value, and the output, I'm going to name it as return value. There we go. All right, so in here we need to do some couple of things. First, we need a function here that we are going to need to create. So let's create a new function first as well. So I'm gonna create new function. I'm gonna call this rotate character, and it's gonna be under movement. Yes, component save. All right. So in here, I need to get player character. You don't. If you are in player character blueprint, always if you're doing in player character blueprint, you need to get player character. You don't, you already are in player character. So from return value, we need to get actor rotation. Then I'm gonna duplicate this player character here, because I'm gonna do first, I want to drag out and set actor rotation, because why not? All right, now I'm gonna interpolate, because we are gonna do something in between here, but I want to something where I can drag these things. So I'm gonna drag from this new rotation and interrupt to rotation, rotator, interrupt to. All right. Now we can start working. First, I'm gonna actually put something in these two. So get word delta seconds, and I'm gonna drink coffee a little bit. Into speed 10. 10 is always nice. All right, so back to the business. So this is gonna be our current, obviously. And what's going to be our target? That's something we have to calculate. It's not really that hard. So from the get actor rotation, I'm going to want to drag from the return value again and break rotator. Then we need to get control rotation, and I'm just going to duplicate this break rotator and connect that with the control rotation. And we need to, from the target of the our interrupt 2, we need to make rotator. So from this get actor rotation, break rotation, the X and Y, we are gonna connect directly to this make rotator, but the yaw, we are gonna get it from the control rotation, like that. Seems like, yeah, we don't need anything else here. Nope. So this is all we need. So component and save. And back to auto walk. Now, we don't need to use the functions just yet. We're gonna do something first. So now we need some more functions. Yay! And we need some variables even. Like, let's create first one variable. I'm gonna call this be auto walk, and it's gonna be boolean. I'm gonna put it under movement category. Then we need to create 3 functions. These are like really simple, small ones. Function, I'm gonna call this is left button down, or left mouse button. Let's be more specific. is left mouse button, and it's gonna be pure. All we need to do is right click and is input key down, and there's this little icon here on the next to the key. Just click once and then click any button you want. So in this case, it's gonna be left. Boom! And now we just add in outputs. So I'm gonna drag this return value directly into this, not into this new param, but to this return node. It's gonna create automatically output for this, and I'm gonna just delete the new parenthesis float one. Boom! Compile and save. Now we can just duplicate this. I'm gonna call this almost the same, not left but right. And then I'm gonna click again this mouse button here. Click once, then click any button you want to assign. Boom! Right mouse button. Compile and save. And we need one more, which is are both mouse buttons down. Or is it is both? No, I guess it's R. This is a little bit differently. We need two of them here. One is gonna be left and the other one is mouth, and mouth right. And then we need and bool here. So now it's gonna check, are they both exactly pressed or down? Compile save. Now we can close this, we can close this, we can close this. All right, so now we are here. Now we can continue. So first we're gonna do is I'm gonna get my auto walk here. So I'm gonna get are both and also right. All right. Now from the auto walk, I'm gonna drag out and check or. So or bool. So I'm gonna check is auto walk or both. Then I'm gonna drag again out are both mouse buttons down, and we need or boolean here. And so now we are checking are both or is the right one. Okay, so now from the first or here, we need to do select. And scroll down, you see this select this with yellowish icon. If it's false, we're gonna take directly the value from the access value there. But if it's true, we're gonna set it to 1. So now, so what this does is it's checking if the auto walk is true. So meaning like if we have pressed the key bind button that enables auto walk, or if both mouse buttons are down, then we are out walking. So then that's why we are setting it to 1. And if it's false, we are gonna take whatever the input, the access value is. And what I want to do now is just for the sake of more like I black out, like more of the so that there is not too much rerouting. Like I want it to be clean. I'm gonna just drag out from this return value of the select. I'm gonna promote to local variable. I'm gonna call this temp access value. And the only place we're going to use this is at the end of this function, because we need this value to be out here. But because there's gonna be something between here, it would be a long way to do, so this way it's gonna be shorter. Fucking mosquito. Go away. Oh, I got it. Nice. Haha, victory. All right, so now next, what to do next? Next, what we have to do is we have to do Automated market maker is a system that provides liquidity. We have to do this now. From here, after this, we want to branch here. So hold down B as in banana. And this condition is gonna be the second or. And that is what we are going to be adding. There we go. There's a little bit more rerouting here, but who cares? I do. Well, good. For me. Or whom? Alright, so now from from true, we want to rotate the character. Alright, I'm just gonna actually put these under mouse. These three. I hate it when they are not organized. Organized was the word when I was having blackout. Organized! They have to be organized! All of them, always organized. Okay, then I'm gonna actually check if both mouse buttons are down. So I'm gonna do another branch here after the rotation, and if the first branch, if this is false, we're gonna connect this directly to the second branch. We are just keeping this rotate character. Where the fuck does all this fucking like mosquitoes or whatever they are coming from? Are they? I don't know. Outside, obviously, yes, but so anyways, are most mouse button stars, are they both? If they are, we want to do is set the auto walk false to false. Then we connect this, and from if are both most mouse buttons down, like are most like what is most mouse button? Like in this context, like how can this even know? Like are most like, okay, I don't know, maybe 7, maybe 10 right now. I don't know, maybe 2 right now. Most fucking stupid ass shit. Okay, so if this falls, we're gonna directly to connect it with the original value. Just most, yeah. Yeah, that's good. And then original value is gonna be the local variable we created. Boom, there we go. That is done. All right, I combine and save. This should be it. Yes. Now we can close this, and we can close this well, and in here we can add this. It was in movement auto walk in the middle here. Boom. Like that. Compile and save. Now let's see, do we need something after or not? Yes, we do. So forward move. So I'm gonna get like forward move forward. We need to get the axis values from this. It's easier to do this than just drag from all the way up here, well, from here, because we can get it here, and we need to compare this value with 0, because obviously if we are auto walking, we want to disable it if we start walking manually. So then we need to set auto walk if this is greater or less than 0. It's gonna be false then. All right, that's done. We can now comment this, and this is like move forward. I'm gonna make this yellowish. There we go, a little bit yellowish. A little bit more down. Let's do that way. All right. The next is move right. Let's do it after, yeah, here. So we need to move. We need to move right. I cannot move anymore. Here we need to do some checking. So chicken. We need chicken. We need to do checking. So we need branch here. And what we need to check is right mouse button down, or are both mouse buttons down? Yeah. We need to check this or that. So it doesn't matter, either one of them. There we go. And then we just what we want to do is get player character, and we want to add movement input. If it's true, we want to add this, and scale is going to be from the axis value, obviously. I want to add here some space because I don't want these lines to be crossing one another, because we need to get the direction, and this time we want to get the direction from our control rotation. So we're gonna get control rotation, and we need to get right vector because we are moving left or right, so we need to get right vector here, and it's gonna be our direction. Boom. And then we need to also check here whether we turn off the auto walk or not. So we're gonna get walk right, no, move right, axis value. This is what we need. All right, and we need to check. So compare this with 0, and if it's greater or less than, then we want to set auto walk to false. Otherwise, we don't do anything. So it's compile and save, and that's all we have to do for this one here. So I'm gonna comment this as move right / left. I'm gonna actually comment this move forward / backwards. All right, and this I'm gonna make it this almost the same color, not quite. Actually, it could be the same-ish. Yeah, let's do pretty. Let's do British. I don't know how we can possibly like make people like I'm not talking about like pregnancy or stuff like that. I'm making like just make a British person out of anything you have in your home, like a remote whatever this is. Alright, so the next one we have to do is we are soon done with the blueprints in our player controller. Then we have obviously the animation blueprint and all that. So now we have to do the turning place basically. So I'm gonna right click and we need to get the turn event. Boom, there we go. Now I'm gonna promote this variable. We are going to be needing this in our animation blueprint. So I'm gonna promote the variable. I'm gonna call this turn axis value. Turn. What is Tron? Turn. It's control. No. Yes, control. It's part of control. It's part of controls. I don't know why I did that. Anyways. Here we need these two. So his right mouse button down are both mouse buttons down. So I'm gonna duplicate them down here. Now we need to check is right mouse button down and are both mouse buttons down. So we need to check if they're both, but we need something in between. We need to check if they are not. So we need to do is check not. You can do this without not this not nodes here as well, but then it means that because we need here a branch, all you would have to do differently is then now we can use true false. True node. But if you don't have this node nots, then you have to use false. We need to get player character because we need to add input, movement input. So we're gonna add movement input. No, sorry. Fuck. Don't believe me. Don't believe anything I say. I'm just a big fucking liar. We need to add actor world rotation. Now that was not lie. This is what we have to do. So I'm gonna like drag out make rotator, or then you can just right click and split struct. So I'm just gonna do this because why not? Now we need to get the turn axis value. I'm gonna multiply this by like 2. I'm just gonna explain what this does now. Okay, and we connect this with yaw. And alright, so what does this do? So basically now we are adding the rotation, and this is the speed of the rotation, like how fast our character is going to rotate, how fast. 2 seems right for me, but you can always promote this variable and tweak it elsewhere somehow, or then you can just manually come here and tweak it. And then we need to check So we need to also, after this, we need to get turn. We need to get the turn axis values here. And we're gonna compare this also with 0. If it's greater than or less, we need a branch here. So just like that, what we need to check? We need to check is left, I'm gonna get it from here, is left mouse button down. If it's not down, like we could do it also like this. If it's down, boom. If it's false, but I'm gonna go from there so I can use true. Now we have to create another function, and let's click new function. I'm gonna call this add control rotation, and it goes under the controls. So now we already saved our saved control rotation. So now we are going to use it in this add control rotation. So in here, what we have to do is we need to get our saved control rotation. Also, we need to get player character. Then from here, we need to get actor rotation. And we need to get, from the saved control rotation, we need to get, we need delta. And I still haven't actually understood exactly how this delta works. We just need it, okay? It works. That's what fucking matters. Hey, I'm not a professional. We're all learning. So then we need to break this. Break rotator. And what we need is here from the C, I'm gonna multiply this by -1 because otherwise it will be incorrect. Multiply by -1. Now then we need to get control rotation, and I'm gonna break this up as well. I'm gonna move this a little bit more down. Up. Now I'm gonna make rotator. I'm gonna take the X and Y from the control rotation, and the Z I'm gonna add from this -1 thing. And then we want to do is set control rotation. All right. So now, what do we want to do? Wait, I think that's it. We can just connect this now with the true node in here, and that should be it. I'm gonna just comment this as turn character. Capital C, thank you. I'm gonna make you nice, greenish. Well, now we can actually try. There's still 2 more things we do, but we should have like the basic working thing right now. So let's check. All right, this works. As you can see, we can now look around. It works just like we want. Awesome. Yes, and now I hold down right mouse button and to rotate, and the character follows. I can move left and right and backwards just fine. And if I hold down both mouse buttons, it's gonna, yeah, follow exactly. I try and move now left or right. It's gonna add. It's not gonna like overrule. It's going to add. So basically, we can move back and forth. That's nice. And now, there we go. All right. One more thing we actually should add, I didn't add in the previous one, was this. I look like, okay, I'm now looking directly in front of my character. I look at my character. I press down right mouse button. Boom. We turn. What if we want to turn only like when we have right mouse button down, but we want to turn when we move a little bit, even tiny bit our mouse? We should be able to turn only then. So in order to do that is set, we have somewhere here, where's the set character rotation? It was in the auto, I believe it was in the So walk, was it in here? So rotate character. Now this is something I believe, yeah, we have to do it in here. So we check, is right mouse button down, and now we need to get the mouse X. And easiest way is to, we can like get a look right value here, and we can check if this is not equal to 0. That way it should do its job. So I'm not moving my mouse, I'm holding down right mouse button, you can see it's not rotated, it's not rotating, and now I move my mouse button a little bit. Boom! The character rotated to the direction we now are looking at. Great, this is exactly what I wanted. We still have to do a couple of things, like toggle run and walk, and toggle auto walk as well. So let's do those quickly. And they are really quick. So here we have, wait, it was, I'm gonna use middle mouse button. You can use anything you want, like you can add custom input in the project and things, and there are the input settings. In inputs, I'm gonna use mouse button. So I'm gonna check, is my auto walk true or false? So whenever we pressed, we're gonna now toggle it. So if it's true, we're gonna set it to false. If it's false, we're gonna set it to true. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is this is more better than flip-flop. Flip-flop just always goes back and forth, and you might not even know which one it is exactly like. But this way, it's always going to work 100%. And now then, all we have to do is like get player character, and we need to character movement, get character movement, this one here. We check out here, we want to set max walk speed. Now this is something your values might differ than mine, and it really depends on your blend space basically. So I'm gonna do quickly here, select, so I know my values, you might have to change yours. This is like optional right now, you don't really have to do things unless you have like walk and run possibilities. If you don't, then just don't add this then. If it's true, we're gonna walk. So my walk speed was 180, and if it's false, my run speed is gonna be 1. Wait, not auto walk, sorry, I did it wrong. We need one more here. I'm gonna duplicate this, I'm gonna call this B is walking. I'm gonna replace this auto walks with this is walking. Yes, this is actually fine. Okay, it's working. Nice. I was a little bit, sorry. Toggle walk / run. And then toggle auto walk. So we have auto walk button already set up here. And this is simple. We just take our auto walk. Boom, we need branch here from the pressed, and if it's true, set it false. If it false, set it true. Simple as that. And this is all we have to do. Toggle auto walk. There we go. I'm gonna make these as and hands-free. And then I press forward, it stops walking because we started manually walk. The same goes backwards. If I turn, it's not gonna stop walking because we are not exactly like walking, we are just turning. And if I press down left, it's gonna keep running because we are still not controlling the walking itself. If I press down both and I release, it stopped walking because we are automatically walking when we press both mouse buttons down. Alright, now there are still some issues there and here, like stuttering, this one, boom, 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 boom. This is something I am unsure why. If you're happy now with this is all you need, then thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. But if you want to still, okay, you're like, okay, I have multiple animations, I want to try and make like that, we can walk forward, backward, and whatsoever, then let's continue with that. And it's a little bit different. I mean, you would need some animations for walking right, left, back, and forth, and like even in between. Like for me, I have movement animation pro, and in here, like in place, I'm gonna just quickly open one of these guys. There we go. All right, so for example, I'm gonna get walk forward, and here, no, sorry, not that, strafe. So like this, I have like strafe to like 135 degree basically. So we are strafing, and then 45. So it's basically, it's not forward, it's not exactly there. It's like in between. So you need at least these basically to do this. Otherwise, it's not really that good looking at all. But if you have them, then good, we can continue with this. And so remember, if it's about animation blueprints, I am not that familiar with them. So if you need some help, I cannot guarantee I could actually help. So let's get started with this one. So what I need is, I'm gonna need to do here, I'm gonna do here new animation blend space, not 1D, but then actual blend space. And I'm gonna select the skeleton that my character is using, and I'm gonna call this mine. I'm gonna call tooth blend space. You can call it whatever you want. Now we can open this up, and this is how it will look. All right, so first things first. In here you might have horizontal axis and vertical axis. We can use this. So the first name is gonna be direction, and the minimum value is gonna be -180, and the maximum is gonna be 180. And for this we need 8 number of grid divisions. We need 8. So then we have enough correct ones. All right. The second one, the vertical axis is gonna be our speed, which goes, for me, from 0 to 320. For this, I'm gonna use 32, because then we have exactly values we need. First, we're gonna start with the idle. So I'm gonna use idle here. If you have multiple idles, then you can use another way I'm going to use. But we are gonna add here the basic idle, just in case. So I have multiple idles, so I'm gonna use the first one. I'm gonna add it in the middle, and the bottom, and the middle, and also in each of these vertical lines. So bottom, but there we go. The same for here, in there. All right. Next is walking. So I need to get walk forward, and I have walk forward loop. And it's gonna go in the middle, but the speed is 180. It's right there. Now we can do walk. Let's add actually walk backwards next. Walk backward loop, and it's gonna be in the same column, so 180, but it's gonna be on both sides. Because this is now it's no, wait, 170, 180, because yeah, all the way here it's 180, so it's backwards, and other one is negative 180, which is also backwards. As you can see, we are walking backwards, we are walking forward, and we are walking backwards, and we want to fill the middle ones. And for that, it was for me strafe left 135 loop. This goes in here. As you can see, the direction is -135 and the speed is 180. Good. Then 45 is the same since it's left. So left ones goes in then here. Boom. Then we have a strafe left, which goes in the 90. Then we do next right 135. It goes to direction 135 and 80. Yes. 45 goes here and right loop goes here. Great. Now we have moving in all directions done. Next is run strafe. So run strafe left 135 goes up, left minus 135 and 45 goes there. Right 135 goes here and right 45 goes in here. Then we need to do is run. Our RT loop is left, so we'll run left so minus 140 and right goes there. Then we need to do is run forward loop and run backwards goes to both top corners. There we go. Now we have these working just nicely. All right, great. This should be it. So we can save and close this now. And now what we can do is create the animation blueprint itself. So right click, animation and animation blueprint. I'm gonna select my skeleton. Okay. I'm gonna call this tut anim bb. Open it up. And now we are ready to go. So we need a state machine here. I'm gonna call this locomotion. And for now, I don't need to add anything. You can add, if you're going to use like other things between here, modified bones, rotation, all that, or you're gonna use montages, you can add here the default slot thing. But I'm not gonna use anything because I don't need in this tutorial. Compile and save. Now we go inside here. So now is so let's just create now. Back from the entry, I'm gonna use state. I'm gonna call this basic, and it will be inside here. Will be here. So now, if you only have one idle animation, then all you have to do is get your blend space here, connect it directly to the results. Drag from direction, promote to variable, do the same for speed. Boom. There we go. You are done with this part here, But if you have multiple animations, then you need to do something else here. If you want to be able to choose from different idle animations. And it's really simple. What we need to do is we need to disconnect this from that. And we need to drag from here, from this what is this animation pose? And we need to do blend pose. So blend poses by bool. And boom. So we need to check if the speed is greater than, but this value can be something between like 1 and whatever is your slowest maximum walk speed that you will have. Like if you're crouching or sneaking, and let's say the speed is 70. So then you can check if the speed is greater than 1 or maximum like 69, for example. You can add as high as you basically want, but keep it lower than your slowest maximum walk speed. Something like that. So I'm gonna use like 10. So I know I will never have speed lesser than 10, but it's still not like exactly too close to 0. If there's some reason it's bugging, like it's giving you like 0.001, 0.02 values, then it's gonna be screwing up everything. So this is good. And now if it's false, what we need to use is sequence. We have random sequence player, and we can connect this with false. And now select the random sequence player. Now we have your entries in the details panel, and here we can add as many as we have different idle animations. And I have 6. My first one in the 0 is gonna be idle. I believe it was just idle Yes, idle, and I'm gonna make sure it doesn't have root motion. There we go. And chance to play, I'm gonna make it 0.8. Then second one is idle 2, and I'm gonna make sure chance to play 0.2. I mean, maybe if this is like, yeah, that is good. So this was 0.2. This is idle 3. I'm gonna make this also 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, and 0.2 as well. Component save. There we go. Go to event graph here. From the try-get pawn owner, we need to check is this valid. So if it, I mean, it will be valid usually, always yes, but it will give you some errors in the first couple of frames or so. So we're gonna check. This way we get rid of those errors. We need to get vector. No, get velocity. Let's get velocity. That's what we need. And then we need to get length, the vector length. And this is our speed. Great. Then we need to, from the try get pawn owner, let's drag out and get actor rotation. So now from the get velocity, the original value, we need to calculate direction, and the base rotation is going to be our actor rotation. And then original value is going to be our direction. There we go. Now, all right, so this should be good to go. So let's check. I'm gonna apply this into my player character actually. So mesh, we're gonna use tut anim bb compa and save this, and let's see. So yeah, you can see that it's actually it's working. All right, great, nice. It's a little bit stiff, like they are quickly changing. That's all right. That's like really all right. Okay, so all right. So now, if you have like turn in place animations, then you can continue watching. If you don't, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. And now let's do the turn in place. This is the last thing we're going in this video we're going to do. I know it's been quite a long time already, but it's gonna be all right. So what I'm gonna do is drag out from here. We need to add state. I'm gonna call this turn left. I'm gonna add another one here, state. I'm gonna call this turn right. And before we add anything in here, let's actually do back into the here and back into the here, and then from here to here and here to here. All right, now let's go back to event graph and let's drag out from the try get pawn owner. We need to get controller, and this we need to cast to tut controller. Yes, because we did everything inside player controller. Now get turn axis value, and this we can promote to variable and call this turn. And connect here. There we go. Now, oh, this is fine. This is why we're gonna fix them. So now we go back to here. So first we have to check that we are going to be turning. So what we can do is we can check turning. Is this greater? Oh, let's check. Yeah, wait, if it's left, we have to check, is this equal to -1? Because if it's -1, then it means we are turning left. And another thing is, then and we are gonna check if the speed is equal to like 0. We can do that, yes. If it's 0. Is our direction left, and are we not moving? Because we need to know, we can always be able to do this when we are not moving. And let's do the same thing for the right. So this goes right. So what I'm gonna do, actually, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna copy this, I'm gonna go now to here. So the same thing for the other direction, but if this is equal to 1, then back to the basics. So we have to check whenever we want to go back from turning to basic. So not turning is. We need to check if the turn is the speed is equal to 0, or if our current walking speed is not equal to 0. So basically when we are walking, then I didn't think this true at all. In the first place, I was like, well, I wasn't like, but now from basic to turn left, and from turn left back to basic, from basic to turn right, and from turn right back to basics. Now we have covered those. Now we have to cover the both between these guys. So we can do the same thing as we do in here, except we do it. We copy this, so is turn equal to 1 and is speed equal to 0. That way we can get from, if we are currently turning left, we can change direction to right when the direction we are turning is right and we are not moving. And the same thing from turn right to left, if the turn direction is -1, meaning if it's going left. I hope I didn't actually... Oh, right, we still have to add the animation. So for this we have turn. So I'm gonna use turn 90 loops. Turn left 90 loop. And it's gonna be looping, obviously. And turn right is gonna be turn right 90 loop. And now if I play, you can see that it's playing the turning animation. It might be a little bit too fast, if you ask me. This is all there is really from me for now. I know this was like really long video, like really long tutorial. But I hope this was enough in depth how to do stuff, and there was some times a little bit like off topics, yes. I hope you enjoyed the video and spent your time with me. I hope you will subscribe and keep watching, and hopefully my tutorials will help you, and they will help me most certainly, of course. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.